$13 billion, 5,000 souls, one floating fortress in the middle of nowhere. Right now, hundreds of America's most elite pilots are living aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford, enduring conditions that would break most civilians within days. This isn't the glamorous Top Gun lifestyle you've imagined. This is survival at 30,000 feet above sea level, where your bedroom doubles as your office, your sanctuary, and sometimes your prison. What you're about to discover will shatter every assumption you have about military life. Because when you're responsible for $100 million aircraft in one of the world's most dangerous workplaces, comfort becomes a luxury you simply can't afford. By the end of this journey, you'll understand the hidden psychological technique that keeps these warriors sane during months of isolation, and why many of them actually choose to extend their deployments despite conditions that would drive ordinary people to madness. Chapter 1. Welcome to your new home. Forget everything Hollywood taught you about naval aviation. There are no private quarters, no spacious cabins, no quiet retreats from the chaos above. A Navy pilot's stateroom measures 8 feet by 10 feet. 3 officers share this space, sleeping in bunks stacked like cargo containers. Your personal belongings fit into a locker smaller than a high school gym storage unit. Everything else gets shipped home or stored in communal areas where privacy doesn't exist. The walls are quarter-inch steel. Every conversation, every midnight alarm, every restless movement becomes communal property. You learn to change clothes while your roommate studies classified materials 2 feet away. You master the art of writing personal letters while someone else conducts official business at the fold-down desk you all share. Water is rationed like liquid gold. Your daily shower lasts 90 seconds maximum, 10 seconds to get wet, 20 seconds to rinse, and 60 seconds of frantic scrubbing in between. On operational days, that drops to 60 seconds total. Some days, showers disappear entirely. The bathroom serves multiple staterooms. Picture brushing your teeth beside a pilot who just returned from a combat mission, both of you crammed into a space designed for efficiency, not comfort. This isn't punishment, this is preparation. Chapter 2. The Crucible Effect. These conditions forge something civilian life cannot: absolute emotional control under pressure. When escape is impossible, you develop skills that translate directly to life or death situations. Managing frustration in a cramped room becomes managing panic during engine failure. Learning to share space peacefully becomes trusting your wingman with your life at 600 miles per hour. The water restrictions teach resource management in its purest form. Every drop matters, every second counts. This mindset transfers seamlessly to fuel calculations, ammunition conservation, and mission planning, where waste equals failure. But the most valuable lesson is humility. A pilot who just flew a $100 million fighter jet waits in line for a shared bathroom like everyone else. Rank determines command authority, but everyone endures identical hardships. The brotherhood that emerges from this shared suffering becomes unbreakable when you know someone's breaking point, their habits under stress, their deepest fears. You develop trust that transcends normal relationships. Chapter 3. The Sound of Chaos. Step onto the flight deck and enter the loudest workplace on Earth. Jet engines scream at decibel levels that can cause permanent hearing damage in seconds. Everyone wears double protection, foam plugs plus industrial headphones, yet most career pilots still suffer hearing loss. The sound doesn't just hit your ears. It penetrates your bones, vibrates through your chest, becomes part of your heartbeat. This acoustic assault never stops. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, The deck thunders with activity. Below deck, pilots trying to rest feel every launch and landing through the ship's steel skeleton. Veterans describe it as sleeping inside a drum while giants pound it with hammers. The deck itself is organized chaos where death lurks in every corner. Color-coded crews move with balletic precision. Yellow shirts directing aircraft, blue shirts handling equipment, red shirts managing weapons, green shirts maintaining systems. One misplaced step, one moment of inattention means instant death. Temperature varies wildly across the deck. Near jet exhausts, the air reaches 130 degrees. On the windward side, ocean spray and wind create Arctic conditions. Pilots dress in layers, adapting constantly as they navigate between these extremes. Communication happens entirely through hand signals. Verbal commands are impossible over the engine noise, so an intricate language of gestures governs every movement. Misunderstand a signal, and someone dies. Chapter 4. Defying physics twice daily. Carrier aviation pushes human capability beyond rational limits. Launch begins at the catapult, a steam-powered monster that accelerates 30 tons of aircraft from 0 to 165 miles per hour in 2.5 seconds. The G-force crushes pilots into their seats with 4 times their body weight. Some temporarily lose vision from the acceleration. If anything malfunctions during launch, the ocean waits 300 feet ahead. No runway exists for emergency landings. No second chances. The margin for error is 0. Steam from the ship's nuclear reactors powers these catapults through massive cylinders, generating enough force to launch a car into orbit. Yet the system must be calibrated precisely for each aircraft's weight and configuration. Too little steam sends the plane into the water. Too much could tear the aircraft apart. Landing reverses this violence. Pilots approach at 150 miles per hour, aiming for 4 steel cables stretched across a deck that measures just 500 feet long. The ship moves through ocean swells at 30 knots, so the landing zone constantly shifts in 3 dimensions. Darkness makes this exponentially harder. Pilots have 12 seconds from seeing the deck to either catching a wire or executing a go-around, assuming fuel remains for another attempt. Miss all 4 cables, and you must immediately apply full power while praying your engines respond. The arresting gear that stops landing aircraft generates forces that would crush a car. Steel cables connect to hydraulic systems designed to halt 30 tons traveling at highway speeds in just a few hundred feet. The engineering is miraculous. The stress on pilots is unimaginable. Many report higher heart rates during carrier landings than during actual combat against enemy fighters. Chapter 5. The Invisible War. Beyond the physical challenges lies a psychological battlefield that claims more casualties than enemy action. Isolation begins the moment the ship leaves port. Cell service vanishes. Internet becomes heavily restricted and monitored. Phone calls home require special permission and often prove impossible due to operational security. Weeks pass without hearing familiar voices. Natural light disappears for most crew members. The ship's interior is windowless, creating an artificial environment where day and night lose meaning. Pilots flying night missions might not see sunlight for days, disrupting circadian rhythms and triggering depression that affects flight performance. Monotony becomes torture. Every corridor looks identical. Every day follows the same routine, the same faces, the same conversations, the same steel walls closing in. Some pilots describe it as living in a sensory deprivation chamber that occasionally surfaces. Food quality surprises most newcomers, but variety disappears quickly. Ship's cooks perform miracles with limited ingredients, yet there are only so many ways to prepare the same supplies. Many pilots lose weight simply because they lose appetite for repetitive meals. Exercise becomes essential for mental survival, but gym space is limited and overcrowded. Pilots work out at odd hours or create elaborate routines in their staterooms, performing calisthenics in spaces barely large enough to lie down. The absence of personal space affects everyone differently. Some withdraw into journals and books. Others become hyperactive, constantly moving through the ship to avoid confronting their isolation. Chapter 6. Dancing with Death. Mortality is a constant companion aboard these floating cities. The flight deck experiences multiple serious accidents annually. Aircraft malfunction during launch, landing gear fails during recovery, jet engines explode, hurling shrapnel across the deck at lethal velocities. Pilots witness these events knowing they could be next. Enemy threats add layers of danger. Aircraft carriers are priority targets for hostile nations. Submarines could be tracking the ship undetected. Anti-ship missiles could launch from hundreds of miles away without warning. Everyone aboard understands they're sailing in a $13 billion target. Nuclear reactors, while incredibly safe, operate in a potential combat environment. Major damage could create scenarios where evacuation becomes impossible. The ocean itself presents constant threats. Storms generating 50-foot waves, equipment failures in remote areas where the nearest hospital is thousands of miles away. Pilots develop various coping mechanisms. Some find comfort in faith. Others use dark humor as psychological armor. Many immerse themselves completely in work, focusing so intensely on missions and training that fear has no space to grow. Medical facilities aboard are excellent, but everyone knows that serious injuries might require evacuation to shore, if that's even possible. Emergency surgeries happen on the ship, sometimes during flight operations with jets launching overhead. Chapter 7. Forged in Steel. These extreme conditions create bonds that transcend normal human relationships. Squadron mates become closer than family. They know each other's flying styles, personal fears, family problems, deepest dreams. They've witnessed each other at breaking points and moments of triumph. They've covered for each other during crises and celebrated victories together. Trust becomes absolute and life-dependent. Flying in formation at 500 miles per hour means literally trusting your wingman with your life. Landing on a pitching deck in storm conditions requires faith in dozens of deck crew members performing flawlessly. Squadron traditions develop that seem bizarre to outsiders but create powerful group identity. Elaborate pre-mission rituals, inside jokes incomprehensible to anyone else, ceremonies marking important milestones. These bind the group together and provide psychological anchors during difficult times. The hardest part of leaving naval service isn't giving up flying, it's losing this family. Many describe it as abandoning brothers and sisters because that's what their squadron becomes after months of shared hardship. Collective suffering also creates unique perspectives on life. Pilots who've endured months at sea develop profound appreciation for simple pleasures most people ignore. Unlimited hot water, private rooms, unrestricted phone calls home, fresh fruits and vegetables. These become luxuries to savor rather than expectations. Remarkably, many pilots voluntarily extend deployments or request additional sea duty. Despite every hardship described, they find meaning and purpose in this lifestyle that civilian life cannot provide. Chapter 8. Miracles of Engineering. The technology surrounding these pilots represents humanity's greatest engineering achievements. Nuclear reactors provide virtually unlimited power for decades without refueling, enabling air conditioning, hot water, and electrical systems that make modern naval aviation possible. Without nuclear power, this lifestyle would be unsustainable. Navigation systems achieve precision that allows pilots to locate their ship in vast oceans during complete darkness. GPS, radar, and communication networks maintain global connectivity despite operating thousands of miles from any land. The catapult systems launching aircraft are marvels that seem to defy physics. Steam from nuclear reactors channels through massive cylinders, accelerating fighter jets to takeoff speed in under 300 feet with precision measured in milliseconds. Arresting gear-catching landing aircraft performs equally impressive feats. Steel cables connect to hydraulic systems that stop 30-ton aircraft traveling at highway speeds in just a few hundred feet, generating forces that would destroy normal machinery. Radar systems track hundreds of aircraft simultaneously while monitoring surface vessels and potential threats. Combat information centers process massive amounts of data in real time, providing pilots with intelligence that keeps them alive during missions. Communication systems maintain crucial connections with families back home through email, video calls, and phone service, lifelines that preserve mental health during extended deployments. Advanced water purification converts seawater into drinking water. Waste processing handles everything from garbage to sewage. Food storage systems sustain thousands of people for months without resupply. The hidden technique? The psychological method that keeps these warriors functional involves a simple but powerful reframe. Every hardship becomes training for something worse. Cramped quarters prepare for potential prisoner of war situations. Water restrictions build survival skills. Constant noise develops focus under extreme stress. Family separation strengthens mental toughness for extended combat deployments. This transforms suffering from something that happens to them into something they actively choose for a purpose. The difference between victim and warrior lies in this mental shift. Successful pilots also master compartmentalization, the ability to separate different aspects of their lives mentally. They focus completely on flying during missions, switch to social mode during downtime, then shift to personal reflection during quiet moments. Visualization techniques help them imagine successful missions and safe returns home. Detailed fantasies about shore leave provide mental escape routes. Extensive journaling processes experiences and emotions through writing. The final truth. After examining every aspect of this extraordinary lifestyle, cramped quarters, deafening noise, constant danger, months of isolation, psychological pressure, the question remains, why do they choose it? The answer isn't patriotism, though that matters. It isn't money, because civilian pilots earn more. It isn't glory, because most of their work happens far from public attention. The real reason is mastery. These pilots are attempting one of the most challenging tasks any human can undertake. Landing a fighter jet on a moving aircraft carrier at night in storm conditions represents the absolute limit of human capability. Those who master this skill join an elite group numbering in the thousands, not millions. The hardships aren't obstacles to endure. They're integral to what makes the achievement meaningful. Anyone can fly from a normal airport. Only a select few can do it from an aircraft carrier. Difficulty creates value, but something deeper drives them. They're part of something larger than themselves, operating the most advanced aircraft ever built from the most powerful warships in history. projecting American strength globally while continuing a tradition spanning generations. These conditions forge character in ways comfortable civilian life cannot. When you've survived months at sea in cramped quarters, faced death regularly, and maintained peak performance under incredible stress, you develop confidence and resilience that serves you for life. Many describe their carrier experience as the most challenging and rewarding period of their lives. They discovered reserves of strength and determination they didn't know they possessed. The shocking reason many volunteer for additional deployments? They become addicted to the intensity. Civilian life feels boring and meaningless after experiencing the ultimate test of human capability. They crave the challenge, the brotherhood, the sense of purpose that only carrier life provides. This is how Navy pilots live on $13 billion aircraft carriers, a life of sacrifice, challenge, and incredible purpose that pushes human capability to its absolute limits. For those who choose this path, it's exactly where they belong.